Hello parents, hello kids, I'm Rowena and I'd like to talk about carving wood with knives. So the first thing to think about is equipment. Today I'm going to be using a knife and wood. I grab a stick. The next thing to think about is setup. How are you going to set up the space that you'll use to carve? I have 3 ideas for you. Here's one of them. I'll sit in a chair and I've got a nice sturdy wooden stump, and when I carve, I'll set the base of my work against the stump to just make it more stable, and I'll carve away from me and let the wood thunk down into the stump, or the knife thunk down into the stump, so that it's kind of protected. The wood is good for the knife, it won't damage it. Here's another idea. I'll sit in a chair and I'll have another chair with a cutting board on it, and I'll set the wood I'm carving onto the cutting board and just work that way. And one more possibility is to sit on the ground with a cutting board in front of you and just set the wood there on the cutting board and just carve onto that like that. Okay. The next thing to think about is safety rules. And in our camps we have 3 safety rules that are really important. There are a few smaller ones that you'll learn along the way, but here are the most important 3. The first one we call blood circle. And that rule is about keeping the other people in the safe space around you safe. So when I'm carving, if I'm carving out in the air like this, and I come to the end of the wood and I slip, that is how far my knife can go. If anybody is inside this space over here, while I'm doing that, they could get cut, right? So before I start to work, I find out where my blood circle is. I'll just take my hand and I'll go like that. That's my blood circle. So my first job is to find out if anybody's in my blood circle, and if they are, then I need to move myself, or I need to ask them to move very politely. I might say, "Excuse me, would you step out of my blood circle?" It's my job to make sure that my blood circle is empty. Hopefully other people will notice that I'm carving with a knife and they won't trip into my space. But just in case they do, it's my job, if they get into my space, to put my work down, to stop, and to ask them politely, "Would you step out of my blood circle?" The second rule is about keeping me safe, and it's called body behind blade. When I'm carving, I'm going to make sure that every part of my body is behind the moving edge of the blade. So there's my knife. That is the sharp edge right there. Just for now, I'm going to keep it in there so I can do this and just pretend. So let's pretend that I am breaking the rule. I'm carving, and I do not have my body parts behind my blade. Maybe I'm carving like this, and I might slip and cut myself. Ouch. Maybe I'm carving like this, and I might slip and cut myself. Ouch. Or maybe I'm trying to do something really awkward and I'm carving like this and I slip and cut myself like that. Ouch. Definitely do not want to cut yourself in any of those ways. So you got to make sure that all of your body parts are behind the blade. So first I'll make sure that all my work is kind of out in front of me. And I'll make sure that the wood is pointing away from me and that my blade is pointing away from me. Okay? It's always moving away from me. The third rule that we have is about taking care of the camp in a bigger way. So if you're at camp and you're carving wood and now you need to get up and go get something else, maybe you're coming back or maybe you're done. You don't want to leave your knife out of the sheath. Somebody could come by your workspace and kick it or bump it and knock it on the ground. Somebody could step on it and get cut. It could land on someone's foot. We don't want any of those things to happen. So if I'm carving and I decide I need to get up and go get another piece of wood or something else, before I get up and walk away, I'm going to put that knife in the sheath. Same thing if I need to go somewhere with the knife. Mostly at camp, you're going to have your knife just right in your woodworking area, but maybe if it's your own knife and you're going to go and put it in your backpack, you don't walk around with an open knife. You put it in the sheath like this, and then you can carry it to wherever it needs to go. Those are the safety guidelines. Now let's do some carving. So, there's my knife, and here's my wood, and we'll do a lot of different things with carving, but we're going to start with something that just gets your hands used to the knife. I think we'll take the bark off of this stick. Oh, I'm bumping into a little knot there. I'll have to start again on the other side of it. Oh, I'm bumping into another knot. Maybe I'll just peel that off. And remember to smell the wood. The smell of the wood is always really interesting. All right. So we have a name for that type of cut, actually. So I kind of went just like that. We call it a forward cut. It can be with a fist. Might even have a thumb out a little bit for more control. Now let's put a point on this stick. Maybe it'll be a garden stake. Maybe I'll pound it into the ground and use it to help a plant stand up. Let's see. I want to put a point on the end. Oh, there's another cut that I want to show you. So this was the forward cut, just big, simple strokes. Now I want a little more control. So I'm going to bring my hand close to the blade. Now I'm going to be really, really careful not to ever put my hand on the blade, because I could cut myself that way. All my fingers on the handle. But I'll put my thumb on the back. That'll give me a little more control. Now this hand, when I was peeling, it was just kind of back here, but I think I'm going to bring it up here. And now I'm going to put that thumb on the back, and maybe I'll even sometimes put this other thumb here. That way I got two thumbs pushing for me. I'll bite a little bit of wood off like that. I'll get a little closer so that you can definitely see what's happening. Just biting a little piece off and then I turn it. Bite a little piece off, turn it. I'll get all the way around. And there, now I've got a point. All right, so that is a little bit of wood carving. I hope you try it out and that you find it interesting.